Looks nice and free now. So now we get to go down here and hook up our throttle mechanism. Now somebody was asking about showing how to rebuild your Super E carburetor, S&S Super E. Remember, this is not an E carburetor. This is a Ultima ripoff R2 or something carburetor. It might look like an S&S, but it's not. But same damn thing. So those, if you see me work on a bike, and it has an S&S cover on it, more than likely I've rebuilt it, or at least looked at it. So just go look in the playlist. The playlist show you stuff. Now it looks like the same guy that got to this end of the cable was on the other end. See how it's all bent to hell? So these have the same issues that we had with the other one. So we need to go in here and kind of straighten things out a little bit. There you go. This one I got really carried away with it. No. I overcompensated. I try not to kink the cable because that makes it worse. Alright, it's a little straighter. Okay, so this here is the return, has a spring in it. You have to make sure the spring goes into where it belongs first. Now if you're not sure which way the throttle mechanism goes, you have to figure out which one's which. Usually the tall one is the one that has the spring in it, and the short one's the throttle side. But I always take the throttle mechanism and try to move it with a screwdriver. So Phillips right here. And see which way it moves. See how it moves that way? So that means the back one is the pull, and the front one is the return. So the springy dingy has to go into this tall one before you put the other one on. Usually. Not always. Because how much you want to fight it. You gotta go up here and make sure you unadjust it up here. So these are all unadjusted right now. So that gives you maximum slop. That means you have the most amount of free length in here available. Okay, so gotta route the cable where it's not gonna be much of a problem. So it looks like it sits up in the air pretty good, so it shouldn't be a problem. So what I do is I put the spring in there first, like that. Then I try to get this into the carburetor throttle position, and then I wrap it around the back side. And I'm fighting the other side a little bit, which is normal. So I'm working a dark hole. Pretty much you feel for the barrel going in. You rotate it 9 degrees until the cable pops in and you pull up on it. So now I'm hooked on it, which is going to be hard to, I can't really show you. Then you pull up on the throttle. Try to engage it. This one's out of the way. It's not going to let me do that. It figures. Go in that direction I can. There we go. Pull up on it, pop it in. So whichever way it works the best for you is how you do it. Okay, that one's all in there now. So now the other one's pulled away down here. I gotta get it hooked in next. So you can see how it's inside the position in there. So now I gotta do the other one, which is gonna be fun. So pull that one out, drop down as much free play as I can get out of it. I might have to pull the other one out to make this one go in. the air cleaner wasn't here, it would help. But I don't really want to take the air cleaner off, so I'm going to try to do it without doing that. Okay. As much free play as I can get. Okay, I put the barrel in the hole. Then I take a little screwdriver, I bend the cable down 90 degrees and try to put it into the slot. Usually have that out, helps, gives you more room. In this case here, it does not seem to be helping. Nope, actually made it tighter. So if one thing doesn't work, do something different. Screwdriver's too short. Sitting on top of here won't let me drop the cable down like I need to be. Cable went in. So you can see how the cable went into the slot down there. You can't really see in there with the squat. Yeah. From this angle I can see it anyway. See, first you put the barrel in it, then I push the cable down the screwdriver until it pops in 90 degrees. Once it pops in, you hold it in there. Then you can pull up on your cable and engage it. So right now it's engaged. We have lots of free play in the system right now, so we go up here and we adjust our throttle. First thing you do is take out a bunch of slop with the throttle side. Make sure you push your cables all the way down. As you go about equal. That cable's still returning, that means you're not tight yet. Keep on doing them both equally until the throttle starts to stick. When it starts to stick, that means you're getting close. Okay, then I go over here and I make sure I'm getting full throttle, because I always want to make sure I have full throttle. So that's wide open right there. So I grab a screwdriver and I push on this and make sure it's wide open. Yeah, it's wide open. It's not moving anymore. If you had this off here, you can see the butterfly be flat. Okay, so right now the throttle is stuck wide open. So what you do is you come up here, you unadjust this one, and the throttle will kick back on you. See how it moves back? You want to make sure it returns right from the get-go, not stick right there. So that is your minimum amount of free play, which has almost nothing. So you give another half a turn, and you get a little bit of free play in the system. See how it returns right from the get-go? And that's where the bar turned. Now you turn the bar straight. See, it's a little more sticky. And you go all the way over here. And see how it doesn't return at all, because the cables are all bound up right now. So give it a little more free play. That's not helping. Okay, so for now we got a little extra clearance in it. Make sure everything's in there all the way on this side. Looks good. Now you should have a little bit of free play in your cable when you're checking this. So you got a little bit of free play in that cable. It just wobbles a little bit. It's not much, just a little bit. So we'll go ahead and give it a little extra. So you get a little more free play in the system there. Turns freely. Okay, now we got to figure our cable routing. I don't like these hanging out in the wind like this, so we got to figure out how we're going to make these stay over here when the bike's going forward. This is in a curved position here, looks pretty good, but this sucks up in here. This is going through here, which is, this cable is on the long side for that, it looks like. If we go through the fork, when you go like this, it's pretty long. You want to make sure you stay out of the 4 o'clock, obviously. So now I need to just take this and bend it down so the cable's more over here than out here. Whoop, bend this, turn this direction so it's more aligned this way. That should hold these in here better like this. See, right now they got a burn to do that. So we'll readjust it until we get it where the cable stays where we want it to be. Because right now I don't like how it is. Loosen that up. Bring it in down a little bit. Right against the gas tank, but it's not hitting on it. Okay. So you can see how when we lowered the gas tank down, see now the throttle cables can go across the top of the tank without hitting on it. You see how sharp a bend in the cable is right here? That is not good. Don't really want to be doing that. So ideally you want this cable to be underneath here where it's not bending so much. So instead of being on top of this bracket, it needs to be underneath the bracket. Something needs to change. Because you got a big bend in the cable right here. When you got big bends in cables, they get really hard to work. It wears them out. We want this thing to go through here. So we need to change how this is mounted. So for now, the easiest way to change this is to take the gas tank, you just slide it up and pull that cable out of there. And not have it go through that position like it was before. Because I don't like that position. It sucks. So, it's all about moving stuff to make it work correctly. Alright. Where are my tools? 2 1/2-inch wrenches. Ah. Getting the thumb on the other side hurts. Must be a lock nut on that other side. Excuse me. Alright, where's my ratchet at? The reason I like through bolts and everything is when the bolt's dead loose, your tank won't fall off. It's still tight. It'll rattle, but it won't come up. If you have a bolt from each side, if the bolt gets loose, it falls out, you're done. Well, I like through bolts. Through bolts look like this. Even though this is loose, you still have all of this here. You're keeping it in there good and tight. Okay, that down, drop that down, bring that back down. Okay. Now, we need to put this up here on a loop. That's a lot better. See, now we have a lot less bend in here. Nice long curve. We need to get some kind of a clamp up here that actually will work. I think I can get both of those in there, but we're going to try it anyway. And that should retain the cable and keep it where it needs to be. So it'll work correctly. At least that's what we want to do. Okay. Put the bolt back in. Always like having that on the left side of the bike. Then when the bike is on a kickstand, you're looking at a hex head bolt, not a nut, with the bolt sticking through it. Looks a little cleaner. Okay, get a real wrench on here. torque. Two torque. Okay, that's mounted pretty good. Okay, I like the throttle where it is, so I'm going to tighten it back down. Up here. Okay, she's tight. Get this little clamp right here. We want to redo it. Pull this off. Looks like a genuine piece that was in here. All right. I think I'd rather have it to the inside than the outside. Let's see if both of these will fit in there. Ooh, they both will fit in there. Plus. You'll make sure it stays out of this 4 o'clock though. That's one thing I'm worried about right now. Gotta make sure it's out of the 4 o'clock. Yep, we're fine. Okay, put the bike forward, undo the clamp. It went like that where I wanted to set. So that's where we put it to. Tighten the screw down. Okay. So now when you're going forward, everything's in there nice and like it should be. We're nowhere near the 4 o'clock. As you rotate it, the 4 o'clock does not get anywhere near the cable. We don't want it to be anywhere near the cable. If I can jack this up a little bit, the wheel will turn easier. So now as you work the cable, you're not, it's nice and all this, we got a flex area from here to here where it goes up and down without binding. So everything works nice and freely. We don't have that heavy bend in here anymore like we had it, which is a big plus. So before the throttle would not work over here. It still doesn't work. It's returning, but not all the way. Still binding a little bit. So you see how there's no free play on that throttle cable in there, the inner cable. There's no free play to speak of. So we'll go in here and give it a little bit of free play. Okay, see now the cable's got a little bit of free play in it there. Not much, a little bit. Still not going all the way. It's trying to, but not quite. Got a little bit of free play on that side. There we go. That's still a little bit sticking, but you can see how you got free play in the cable. You can see it up in here too. Now, some people like having the handlebar this direction. This is not the traditional way of doing a bike. Usually it's on this side. And you see it bends, it has less sticking problem on the cable. See how it returns nice and freely on this side right here. Right here. Straight ahead. Nice and freely. You go all the way over here. Not so free, see. It'll return when the bike's running, but it's just a little sticky. So this is not the traditional way of doing a Harley. So kids do it this way. Now if I move the throttle slightly different here, we'll get rid of this drag across the top of our tank. Going forward it won't hurt us any, and over here it won't hurt us any. So I think that's a thing we can do. I'm going to loosen this throttle up again. Reposition it one more time. So let's see how that works there. Oh yeah, it's no problem at all. Go even a little bit further if you want. Yep, so the cable follows it. We're lined up with this here right now, so when you like that, it lines up straight. Works nice and freely. This lower cable hits slightly, but that's just how it is in the clamp. Okay, so I put the cable back over here in this position. Where's our straight slot at? Okay. Throttle still does not want to return. Still just a little bit. We got our free play. It's not much, but it's there. Want to make sure we get full. Looks like it's getting full. So that's an important thing to have, is full throttle. Okay, right here we got, it's good. Over here, good. All right, I'm happy with all that. Excuse me. Okay, how much free play we got right now here? Not a lot. I'll probably give it a little bit more free play. I like having a little bit of free play. Yeah, that's pretty good. See, now it's starting to work better here. Starting to return now. Give that a little extra free play, makes a big difference. Okay. I don't want to give any more though, but we have this much free play right now, which is not too bad. Okay, I'm happy with that. Excuse me. Okay, after you get your free play set, you go over here and tighten these. Oh, you dumbass. Wrong direction. Okay. This is not this, dummy. See, everybody can be a dumbass if they want to be. And throat. Okay, undo that nut. One more is going to have to be. Alright, you do that like that. There you go. Now you can either tighten these down with a wrench or you can leave them a little bit loose so you can play with them if you need to. I usually don't tighten them up very much. Just go like this, like this. Some bikes that vibrates. If you want to put a little torque on it, you can go like that with it. So it's probably enough. You could probably undo it down the road if you needed to, but that's enough. Excuse me. Okay, so there is our carburetor now working. Okay, now we can actually start the bike up and make noise if we want to. Does anybody want me to do that? I don't really care myself, but we'll see. All right, I'll be back.